Good evening, everyone. Welcome to today's Quality. Speaking of chimneys, many of us may be very familiar with. Why? Because in some romantic writings we read, chimneys remind us the curling smoke which symbolizes our way back home. For Western people, chimneys mean that when Christmas comes, Santa Claus will come down the chimney to their home. But now, for many people, their first impression on chimneys is pollution and smog. Today, our program may subvert your impression because there is such an enterprise in Suzhou who are planting chimneys as trees. According to them, chimneys are trees that can purify the air and create miracles. They are to plant such trees all over the world. This chimney is 80 meters high and 3.8 meters in diameter, waiting to be delivered to Dongying. This is not the largest chimney we've made. The largest chimney we've made is in South Africa, 138 meters high, a landmark of the local place. They all say this is a chimney, but I don't think so, because we implanted life into it. It's a magic tree that can initiate life. This chimney will be sent to Guangrao, Dongying of Shandong Province, ordered by Petrochemical Group. It's 60 meters high, composed of 6 sections, each 10 meters. The inner wall is made of fiber-reinforced plastics, so the whole chimney weighs only 71 tons. After 60 days elaboration, the chimney was finished. It's one of the most common chimneys Rainbow has ever made. We dare say almost all large chimneys in China are made by Rainbow. The landmarks of each province, even those of the country, are made by us. Take a few examples. 65% of the Olympic Games, 75% of Shanghai World Expo along the banks of Huangpu River, and over 80% of the chimneys in Lujiahui Financial District. 100% of the chimneys of the Youth Olympic Games are made by Rainbow. Rainbow does most and best in design. We dare say, among all classic domestic cases, the design of chimneys can't be done without Rainbow. All their calculations are provided by Rainbow. What kind of chimneys are we going to make? Chimneys are not just functionally helpful, but also capable of creating miracles of life to the society. Just a little. Too much. In 2003, Wang Yong resigned from his golden bull in others' eyes under enormous pressure. He established Suzhou Rainbow Environmental Equipment Company Limited. He never thought he could leave such a small workshop to the leader of China's chimney industry. This was in fact a journey fulfilled by my father and my whole family. In 2003, my father suffered a severe stroke. At that time, we were faced with a huge challenge, i.e., how to continue the whole thing. There were a dozen or so employees in the factory, and right then I was a government official. I was a judge in a local court. For Wang Yong, the role transformation might bring him to a road of no return or huge enthusiasm to do something big. Wang Yong was caught in a dilemma. Basically for 2 reasons. Blood is thicker than water. The second reason, I think, is that I'd rather do it wholeheartedly than distractedly. Then I decided to devote myself to it. I submitted my resignation and left the next day. The moment I shut the door of my office, my eyes burst into tears. After all, I had been a judge for 12 years. In fact, I'm quite like my father, for example, in personality. These photos were taken when he was young. This was taken during the Liberation War, and this during the Korean War. My father is the only son of the family. When he joined the Korean War, he was blown into a ravine. His ears deaf and waist broke. Even so, he carried his comrade back home, who died before they got home. My father's persistence and firm dedication is certainly the greatest wealth he left me. Then is to cut off all means of retreat. When you put yourself in this, you have no other choice but trying to succeed. I think till now, I've kept a very strong mind. After all, I'm no longer young, but I think I still have such a passion that I can do this well. All preparations finished. Now these chimneys are leaving Suzhou to a new place. Different from previous industry chimneys, these chimneys have been given sense and sensibilities. 30 years of reform and opening up has brought to China dramatic changes. High-rise civil buildings in China have sprung up in recent years. Now, a civil building can easily reach 300 meters high or even 5 meters high. So how to discharge the smoke? For any intelligent building, such as an intelligent 5A office building, central air conditioning is a must. Then there must be a combustion boiler or a direct fire machine. The question is how to discharge the exhaust gas. Such a situation calls for the birth of a new type of chimneys. Many people use the word evil or vicious to describe chimneys because their emissions pollute the air and produce smog. This is rather unfair for chimneys because they are most accomplices for the transmission of exhaust gas rather than the culprit. So Rainbow figured out a solution to change them to magic trees, which can purify the air. I want to build an online monitoring project for CCTV tower. What do we need to prepare? I'll show you a similar case we did before. Then let's discuss about the specific requirements for the project of CCTV tower, shall we? Okay, what we're advocating is the management of the whole product lifecycle. This explains why we have a big data platform, because the platform we have in fact has three functions. The first is management. The second is research and development. The third is providing service. The function of management enables us to monitor the displacement of our steel chimneys, as well as the monitoring system of exhaust gas treatment. Such monitoring is realized through relative equipment and the properties of our chimneys, and also the function of research and development. What we've already put into production is a die casting machine for die casting exhaust. This is in fact a big improvement of the equipment we made on the basis of big data. Whenever the exhaust gas exceeds the limit, here you can find a small black icon on the map, keeps blinking. What does this mean? This means severe elevation. The system will send a message to the user's mobile phone. Finally is about the service we provide. This is mainly provided for the Environmental Protection Department and the Safety Supervision Department, such as the monitor of the displacement of our industrial chimneys. We can share the data with the Safety Supervision Department. Another example is the monitor of cooking fume and the monitor of the VLC exhaust, and we share the data with the Environmental Protection Department. We hope to give everyone a clear blue sky through our monitor and treatment. The City Exhaust Gas Purification Center we're establishing now is to figure out how flue gas is formed. We're to focus on certain points to find a treatment method, and then from point to surface. After so many practices, we work out a set of effective methods. Mr. Sun, is that a damper? Yes, chimneys over 60 meters high, under the effect of airflow and wind force, easily sway from left to right. The role of the damper is to effectually restrain the chimney from swaying. Chimneys made nowadays are quite different from those made before. We add a lot of intelligent monitoring systems into the chimney, which are very helpful for air protection. Whenever we install a chimney, it's as if we planted a forest. The more forests we plant, the more we have done to improve the air in our environment. At the very beginning, I was on the construction site every day. I found he was entangled with one little problem. He found the client made a mistake with the cable. He insisted to change it back. I told him to buy a new one, but he insisted to change it. Then one day when I saw him sweating all around with the cable on his back, I was deeply moved, or more appreciatively incited. I thought what he brought was not just a cable, but a kind of feelings for me. It was his responsibility to the company. This was taken in about 2006, when we went to install a steel chimney. He took this picture, brimming with vigor. Now, more than a decade has passed. Wang Yong will take out these old photos every now and then. He said they were not just the snapshots of the moments. Behind them are touches of the heart he could never forget. These photos also remind him of those who struggled together with him.
感谢朋友收听，这里是 FM 91.4，我们的微信在微信的公众平台当中搜索一下成都交通文艺广播的官方微信，也希望朋友们继续的通过以上的方式来和我们切实的感受。
There is smog in Chengdu now. We want the chimneys here are also capable of purifying smoke. So I come to China Academy of Engineering Physics. I hope we can do something together to enhance the efficiency of exhaust gas treatment. Dr. Tan, I hope we can see cooperation upon the R&D of equipment, especially energy-consuming reduction with China Academy of Engineering Physics. Maybe we can make some adjustments to the technique you already have. Zhang Lingxin, General Manager of Chengdu Branch, used to take charge of administration of Chengdu Branch. Shortly after the setup of Chengdu Branch, the production director and sales director quit their job for personal reasons. Zhang Lingxin took the initiative and assumed the work of production and sales. Though ostensibly I seem rather tender, I'm mentally very strong. After so many hardships, Chengdu Branch is becoming better and better. Actually, when I look back, there is still lingering fear. Now I realize those adversities, in fact, helped me grow a lot. And I appreciate it so much that President Wang provides us such a wonderful platform. Our capability is in fact keeping improving with the challenges we're facing. I always believe that on the basis of mutual trust, as long as there is platform, one can grow unceasingly as long as he is willing to take the responsibility. There are 3 types of chimneys: industrial, commercial, and residential. Except for what Rainbow has done in industrial and commercial, there are a lot of miracles Rainbow has created in residential areas. Since 2006, Rainbow started to explore the American residential market. Due to serious trade protection and rigorous quality inspection standards in the United States, Rainbow failed the quality test every year with the same problem. It seemed that whatever Rainbow had tried to improve, it was never good enough. There are actually 3 stages for the rising of temperature. We couldn't pass the test at the first stage, let alone those of the second and the third. The main cause lied in theoretical defects. The key point of the chimney is radiation heat transfer. So, if you are unfamiliar with such a kind of calculation, it's hardly possible to pass the test. Repeated failures never worn down Rainbow's determination to enter the USA market. Numerous attempts gave Rainbow increasing courage. Technicians from the OMNI laboratory thought it was incalculable. But unfortunately, calculation after each testing proved that our products could have reached the standard. Technicians from the lab were surprised, refusing to take our suggestion. They forced to continue the testing. I did not agree. Then I wrote a debrief of the overall situation and showed it to them. But he was still not quite sure about it. "Are you sure?" he asked. "Can you pass the test this way?" "I'm sure," I said. "I am quite sure." Then we started testing. When the conditions were obtained, we ignited the fuel, and we passed the test soon after. When hearing the result, we were very excited. What we had done was validated by the Americans, and we created a method of temperature testing that they had never seen before. When I showed them the paper, they were anxious to ask me for it. "Could you please leave it to me?" they said. They mean the paper. In this way, Rainbow, a Chinese brand, successfully crowded into the American market. At least in this industry, Americans changed their impressions upon us that Chinese can do equally well. We're equipped with the technology and strength. Nowadays, the brand of Rainbow has entered into more than 100 countries all over the world. We've taken 50% of the Australia market. The sales volume of e-commerce is in the top 3 in Germany. Rainbow has created numerous miracles. The growth of magic trees calls for not only sun, water, and fertile soil, but also persistence and mutual trust to supply extra nutrition. From the miracle created during the war, to those made by the cooperation of co-workers. From the miracle of the family to that of the company. From the miracle of one company to that of the nation, Rainbow is planting magic trees all over the world. We believe the trees will keep growing, and we are to enjoy a sky clearer and clearer. Thanks for watching today's Quality. See you next Monday.
作为我们烟囱制造的话，它实际上也涉及到很多安全性的问题，也涉及到客户最终的使用利益的问题。